You had something special you wanted to add?
Oh yeah, I had two things. First of all, I think our LGBT bird movie trilogy was complete after all, because there's this one viral video of Big Bird gendered bathrooms where he's like, if that's the girls' room and that's the boys' room, where's the birds' room? Big Bird non-binary confirmed. We did it, Mark. We finished the trilogy. I don't think Big Bird is canonically non-binary, but these are the things I think about when I can't sleep at night. You know how Patrick, it's like the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma? Instead of milk falling over, it's, is Big Bird non-binary?
Fair enough.
And the second thing is I got you a present.
Oh?
It's really more a present for Sammy than it is for you, but I'm sure you'll appreciate it.
That's what the whole movie's 56 minutes long, and that's a summary of what it looked like. So you can imagine I guess you could say it's a little experimental. It goes from found footage to actual showing to like the perspective of doing a vlog video. It's like one of those weird thingy, but anyways. Hey guys, how you doing? I'm here with John again.
I had to cheer Mark up after destroying his brain with After Last Season. I dressed for the occasion as well.
I'm still I'm still recovering from that movie, but either way, we wanted to watch something a little bit more uplifting. I guess you could say a follow-up to our Gay Duck review. You could say.
Well, Big Bird is canonically 6 years old, so I don't think he's old enough to discover his sexual identity yet. And there is 25 seconds of 2D animation in the movie, but I don't think that's enough for it to constitute yet another 2D animated gay bird movie.
And technically, it was Gay Ducks, but ducks are a bird, so
yeah.
It qualifies. But we watched Follow That Bird, where basically Big Bird decides he wants to live with other birds and realizes it sucks and wants to go back.
The moral of the story is it doesn't matter what your family looks like. All that matters is who raises you and how they raise you.
Yeah.
And Miss Fitch, the social worker bird lady, her change of heart was hilariously abrupt, because she's like, oh, I am a racist and I think birds should be among their own kind. Oh, now I see at the end of the movie Big Bird is with people not of his own kind, but he's happy. I guess I'm not racist anymore.
Yeah, I didn't like her at all, and that was just like, it was so like, I mean, I would say like fake, but obviously, but like, there's a better word for it.
It was forced and rushed.
Way too, but overall though, like, I can still appreciate a movie like this. It's a Sesame Street movie aimed towards really young kids, so, obviously you don't need to try too hard. It's not like you're trying to make you're not aiming for the next Citizen Kane.
I would argue that they did try in some regards.
I'm not saying that they didn't try. I'm saying, like, you don't have to try hard. Like, you don't have to,
This is not like high art. This is not like The Shining, The Shawshank Redemption, The Godfather, or anything.
Citizen Kane. Yeah, like, they're not trying to make the next Citizen Kane. They're trying to make a fun kids movie based around Big Bird.
Yeah, I will say though, considering that it's a movie whose target demographic is 4-year-olds, it got me more invested than I thought it would be, and I thought it was better than I thought it would be. 'Cause like, there's some kind of funny throwaway lines like, there's this bird on Sesame Street, and I don't know why, but that made me laugh. And Kermit's joke, how come the chicken didn't cross the road? 'Cause it's chicken. Like, come on, how has someone not thought of that before?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie has some interesting cameos too.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog and Chevy Chase are probably my two favorites.
And who was the cop? I feel like
I don't
he
remember.
was someone famous.
He
And
was, but I don't remember
And Waylon Jennings was the truck
that
driver.
too. But yeah, and like, but just like so you're gonna have some cute cameos in there. You're gonna have, it was basically a pretty standard step by step kids movie.
Yeah.
Like I would say.
I will give the movie credit. I think the earnestness and emotion of the voice performances really helps sell the movie. Because when Big Bird says goodbye to Snuffy at the beginning of the movie,
That was sad.
It's really sad.
They're best friends, like, and as somebody who grew up watching Sesame Street as a kid and knowing how close they were.
But here's the thing. I didn't really watch Sesame Street growing up. I've seen bits and pieces of it, like here and there, and I did like watch a few episodes for like context for the show after seeing the movie. But even then, it's like, again, the voice performances sell that scene, and when Big Bird is the Bluebird and he's trapped in that cage, like, I felt sad for him because, like, he's like the epitome of like wholesome innocence and like endearing nature, and
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I didn't watch too much of Big Bird centered stuff because I kind of got into Sesame Street. Elmo was the big character everyone loved.
I can tolerate Elmo in small doses, but for the most part I find him annoying.
I can understand that. I guess I have a bit of a soft spot for Elmo because I grew up with him as the main. My favorite characters in Sesame Street are actually Ernie and Bert. They're the OG gay couple. I love them. I also really like Grover as well. But I do have a soft spot for Elmo. Elmo and Grouchland was a movie that I watched a lot growing up, which was very similar to Follow That Bird. I think Follow That Bird's a little bit better, personally, but I watched a lot of Elmo movies.
I remember seeing Elmo and Grouchland in the theater when it first came out, but I was very little. I don't really remember anything from it besides this one weird scene where this lady's like, you have to blow 100 raspberries in 30 seconds, and Elmo like goes, and the girl's like, oh, and that was so weird.
That was probably the weirdest scene in that movie, but like there's no weird stuff like that in this movie, so
no.
Not that I remember at least. The dodos were, well, morons, but that's kind of a given. They're dodo birds, so obviously they're going to be dodo, haha, but like, and it was, the very forced, because you could tell that like a lot of that is, child-friendly racism, I guess you could say. To try to, and I guess that is kind of like, it is a way to introduce the message to kids in a safe way.
Because Sesame Street historically has always been, it's meant to be the most inclusive show, and the whole message is like everyone can get along. So it's not just the different races of human characters, but also intermingled with all different types of Muppets as well.
Yeah, and that's and I think the show does a really good job with that. Especially, and even this movie I think does a good job kind of teaching that, like, anyone can be your family. Those that you grew up with, the ones you're close to, the ones that take care of you, the ones you take care of, and I really appreciate that. Like, I can appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, because and I'm gonna get kind of real for a second here, but I don't know my dad. I've never met my dad ever in my life. And, like, I honestly don't really want to or really know what I would say other than some quip to break the ice, like, oh, now I see where I got my dashing good looks or something. But after that, like, you may have sired me, but you did not
Raise.
you did not mold me into the person I am now. You didn't teach me anything. You didn't show me what it meant to be a contributing member, positive force in society. And, like, that's what Sesame Street is to Big Bird. That is
That's his home.
That's what made him, again, the lovable, wholesome, innocent, selfless, fun-loving bird that he is. Even if Bird specifically didn't raise him.
And it does. Yeah, it's a really cute movie. It really is. It's definitely no high art. It's not a perfect movie. It's definitely got some issues, but like it's pretty forgivable because it's a kids movie. It's not like it's Son of the Mask where the thing's absolutely horrifying and just because. And the fact that it's a kids movie doesn't excuse it from being that terrible.
Son of the Mask is kind of a guilty pleasure for me.
I liked it when I was little, but I watch it now and I'm like, this is embarrassing.
I like how ridiculous it is.
Well,
and that they just went there with it.
Yeah, no, it is really yeah. But I mean this movie, like, it's not. There's nothing in it that I think is that crazy or that bad. So I can be like, yeah, this is a cute little kids movie,
Yeah, there is absolutely no Son of the Mask nightmare fuel in this.
Yeah, no. This is very wholesome. I watched this with my son. He got bored after the first half, but because I guess he just didn't want to follow the bird, but
he did not want to follow that bird.
No, but he does enjoy Sesame. I'm pretty sure he's more of an Elmo person as well because he likes.
And that's another plus for me with this movie. No Elmo in this movie. I think Elmo the character was around by then, but he was like just created.
Yeah, he didn't get his chance in the spotlight yet.
No.
Really.
Oh, he got many chances in the spotlight after that.
Yes, I do agree, but yeah, my son more so watches. His favorite segment of Sesame Street is the Elmo's World segment.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure, like, if I showed him, like, Elmo and Grouchland, he'd probably appreciate it. But that's the thing, like, this one's about Big Bird. It's not about Elmo. Elmo's had plenty of movies about him.
Now, speaking of this movie being about Big Bird, I have a, like, kind of serious Sesame Street lore question I have to ask. Because this whole movie's premise is based around there's this society that finds homes for orphaned birds, and Big Bird, we never know where his biological parents are. We know he has a granny bird and, like, other cousins and aunts and uncles that live far away.
Yeah.
But no one is legally responsible for him. No one on Sesame Street is, like, his legal guardian. And, like, his nest is right next to, like, Gordon and Susan's house or Maria's house or something. So, like, he's, like, presumably if one of them were legally responsible for him, the whole plot of this movie could have been avoided.
Yeah.
So, is it ever explained? Is Big Bird's, like, familial ties ever, like, formally explained?
I'm kind of curious about that too, because, like, most characters do kind of have an explanation. Like,
yeah, because a lot of them have, like, nuclear families.
Yeah, like Elmo, for example, does that. Like, his parents do show up multiple times.
Yeah, like, he has a dad, like, that's on the show a lot, I think.
Yeah, the mom not so much, but the dad is on the show a lot, yeah.
And then, I forget where I was going with this. Oh yeah, he's just sort of weirdly communally raised by everyone in the neighborhood. And I know it takes a village to raise a child, but it seems like they're taking that way too literally.
I mean, that could potentially be the point, but I mean, yeah, I'm now that you ask it, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
See, because I also I for the longest time didn't really know that he was that young. I thought he was like older, like because he gives off the impression that he's older than that.
Well, I always got the impression from him that he was again like maximum 6 years old as he's described in the movie and the show, because like he's not very wise. He doesn't really understand a lot about how the world works, and he's like very naive.
Well, I kind of figured he was just I see that, but like some of his manner, like the way he speaks and how like his body language per se, I guess, and how insanely tall he is, always gave me the impression, because I never really watched too much of Big Bird. Again, Elmo was the one I watched, but I always got the impression that he was like a very, I don't want to say SpongeBob, like kind of young adult era, because
Oh, interesting.
because SpongeBob is definitely a lot younger than Big Bird.
What? SpongeBob's an adult.
No, what I mean is he gives off a much younger appeal is what I'm asking, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm not saying no, because I know he is a young adult actually, and Big Bird is 6. But what I'm saying is he gives off more of a childish personality than Big Bird does. So I always kind of thought Big Bird was older than SpongeBob, is what I meant to say. My brain is still fried from the last movie we
After
saw.
last season.
I'm still like that, and like it also is late, but like I don't know.
Yeah. Because like there are some adult Muppets, like Cookie Monster's old enough to drive. The Count is like 6 million years old, and Oscar the Grouch, I think it's implied he's an adult. Actually, you know what? There was an episode where he drove a car, so Oscar the Grouch is old enough to drive too.
Didn't Big Bird drive at one point too? He wasn't supposed to be,
No.
but like I thought I saw him drive at one point.
I don't think so. He rode in the truck. He flew on a plane. Oh, and that reminds me, getting back to the actual movie, there's when Big Bird flies out to his new adoptive family, the Dodos, he's on this set that's clearly a set that's him on a plane, and because he's like 8 feet tall, he's like the window is like here and this big, and like I'm like, okay, this is clearly a set made to accommodate Big Bird's large frame. I think it would have been funny, and like a missed opportunity for a joke would be to have him like scrunched up in an economy seat and like trying to run.
I kind of wish they would have done that, honestly.
Yeah. And he starts singing his like la 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 thing, and everyone looks at him, and I'm like, oh hell no. If that was a real plane, I'd give him 10 seconds, 15 tops. And again, missed opportunity. Like, someone should have been like really annoyed at that.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, there are a lot of missed opportunities in it, but it's like a lot of it's again, it's forgivable.
But that also makes me think that a lot of the movie is like really padded out to get it to 90 minutes. Like this could have been like a 1-hour TV special, but they decided we're gonna try to push it to 90 minutes, and even then it's only 88 minutes. But still,
it's not very long.
And also, I decided to be smart for once and actually take notes during rewatching so I don't forget anything. So we covered the plane thing, more fireworks outside. And
I was about to ask, it sounded like somebody was tapping on like my screen door back there. I was like, what?
It kind of did a little bit, actually. Oh yeah, okay. No, it's gone.
That still scares me though, if it is, what if it is somebody tapping?
No, if they really like wanted your attention, they'd do it again. But
As we hear it again.
but anyways, two quick things. What? Oh, you know what? I forget what they are. Okay, I remember what they are now. Okay, so I first heard about this movie from the old Nostalgia Critic video, and when I watched the movie for real, when he's on the back of the truck and they want him to jump onto the Volkswagen, it just made me all I could think of was the Nostalgia Critic video, because he's like, and they're like, jump, and he's like, no, and they're like, jump, and he's like, no, and they're like, jump, and he's like, okay, and that's all I could think during that part. Literally, that's how the scene goes. They're like, jump, and he's like, no, and they're like, jump, and he's like, no, and they're like, jump, and he's like, okay.
I mean, yeah, I remember, yeah.
and the last thing I wanted to say is, sometimes I will watch through the end credits of movies just to see certain song choices they do, or certain other like decisions they do, or like if there's a mid-credit scene and stuff. And my favorite song from this movie is the Easy Going Day song, and during the end credits they play like this remixed orchestral version with these soaring horns playing, and I'm like, oh, this is my jam, the Easy Go, and I'm just like, oh, that hit me so hard. I loved that they did that.
That wasn't a bad, way better than after last season. I'm still
any movie's soundtrack is better than the after last season.
I still have those horrible, like, I'm still thinking,
it's literally just someone messing around on a piano, not even trying to make a motif or anything, just random notes. And
yeah. I guess to get our mind off of that one, so when it comes to rating this movie, what would you say though?
Like I said, it's nothing, it's not high art, it's not like one of the greatest films I've ever seen or anything,
Yeah, no.
but it's a wholesome, innocent, endearing little movie, and it's just like a cozy little movie that makes you feel warm inside, and you feel like it's just giving you a big hug, like you're snuggling a stuffed animal, and like it just makes you feel like everything's okay in the world. And again, because it's a movie aimed at 4-year-olds that I got more invested in than I thought I'd be, and was overall better than I thought it would be, I will give it a 5, and I like almost want to give it a 6, but I'm keeping it a 5 for now.
I'm thinking around the same era. I'll give it the generous 6. I'll just so we can have variety. Because I do enjoy the movie. I do think it is good. I'll definitely go with the 6. I definitely couldn't bring it any higher than that though. Like 7 is definitely pushing it.
Yeah.
7 is more like, I guess you got to be a bit more I was about to say
profound.
Yeah. Like maybe when you get a little bit more artsy, but this was a very safe, friendly, I was trying to think of another example of like another movie I gave a 6, and the only one that came to mind was Independence Day, I think. Because to me it's like
two very similar movies.
Well, no,
Follow That Bird and Independence Day.
What I mean, no, they're not. What I mean is like there's definitely like they're far from perfect movies, but I think they're enjoyable nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know, like they are definitely very different movies for the most part. I wouldn't say it's high art and anything very special, but I can watch that. I can enjoy it. I can enjoy myself watching it.
The villains were like simplistic villains there for the paycheck, and if they had perhaps had some complexity to them, I would have been like, ooh, this movie's actually trying to have layers. Then I might give it the full 6.
Yeah, Alright.
And the movie's on YouTube for free with ads.
That is true, so you can go watch it. I will put the link in the description for that. And on that note, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, or like what you saw, I guess, Braden still like the video. And if you want to see more, subscribe and the notification bell and all that stuff. And there's playlists and stuff. You know the whole thing. Well, anything you want.
Here's an idea I subscribe to. If Big Bird's 6, he has to be old enough for school, but he's not in school in the show. Is he homeschooled? Who homeschools him? Do the in-universe lessons of letters and words and numbers and counting constitute, and the moral lessons constitute his schooling? I can keep going on and on with the Big Bird lore. Someone explain Big Bird's backstory. I want the Big Bird origin story.
Oh, well, you can give us that backstory. Please do in the comments. We'd love to read. And on that note, we'll see you guys in the next one.